Lore review. Lore review. Welcome everybody to my very first lore video of Artifact. Today I'm going to talk about what heroes that are possibly going to be in the next expansion. This is all speculation. Obviously, I don't have any inside contacts at Valve. I don't know if anything I say today is true, but we'll find out. So what I did was I went through all the cards in the game. I read all of the voice lines, all of the signature card voice lines, all of the item voice lines. Every card in the game I went through, and I made an Excel sheet. Now, here it is. Every time there was a voice line made by a hero that was not in the game itself, I put a check in the voice line column. Every time there was a reference to a hero that is not in the game, it gets a check in the reference column. And every time that hero showed up in a picture in a card that is not in the game, it got a check in the pictures. And then you add up all these numbers, you get the sum column, and there you go. Now the most important column here is the voice lines column. Based on my theory, Valve invited all the voice actors to Valve HQ. They recorded the lines. There's 48 heroes in the game so far, okay? So all of these voice actors have been invited and they've done the voice lines. If a voice actor can do multiple heroes, which we already know of because you can just go to the voice actors in the Dota page. You've got Mr. Dave Fennoy here, you know, voicing what, 8 different heroes? If they have that voice actor in the HQ, they might as well record voice lines for heroes that are not in the game yet, that they know are going to come in the next expansion. So, judging on my Excel sheet, the hero with the most amount of voice lines is Silencer, coming in a whopping number 3. He is talking in the card Arcane Censure, Collateral Damage, and Stars Align. So let's check those out. Alright, let's give a listen to Stars Align.
Weeping Rose is shrouded in perpetual nightfall, a means for the Quorum to harness the power of the stars.
Okay, it doesn't really say much here, but the point is, Silencer is voicing this and 2 other cards in the game. While they have the voice actor at Valve HQ, they probably made him read off of all of the voice lines for Silencer as a hero in general. So there's a pretty good chance that Silencer is going to be in the next expansion, just based on how many voice lines are in the game. The second most voice lines in the game is a tie between Faceless Void and Venge Spirit. So let's talk about Faceless Void. He is already a pretty big part of the game without even being in the game itself. He is involved in all of the lock cards, a pretty big mechanic in Artifact itself. So any card that has lock in it has Faceless Void on it. So you got the Fractured Timeline, you have Buying Time, there's Void in Chronosphere, and then you have Lost in Time. There's Void in, I believe that's Klazarim, the realm of Klazarim, where you can control time and shit. So there are 2 voice lines in which Faceless Void himself talks, and there are 3 pictures of him and also a reference of him in another card. Pretty good chance that Faceless Void is going to make it into the next expansion. Now, Vengeful Spirit has 2 voice lines, 2 references, and 2 pictures. However, I don't really see how she fits into the current lore of the current story about the 3-way war between the Red Mist of Wool and the Bronze Legion. The only card that she is in is Steel Strength and Curse of Atrophy. So if you look at those, there she is. There's Tiny as well. Very cool. And she's just talking about nothing really. There's no lore in this card. She's just saying, you know, stealing strength from one thing and giving it to another. And the other card she's in is Curse of Atrophy. And then she's talking about the god Skriok, which she worships, I believe. I'm not sure about that. So she already has 2 voice lines in the game and 2 pictures of her, but I don't know if she'll be in the next expansion, to be honest, because she doesn't really fit into the lore. The last one is Shadow Fiend. Now, this is actually a big one. Despite him only having 1 voice line in the game, I think he's going to play a major part in the next expansion just because of this card, The Oath. So, In the oath, he says, I know why you're here. Despite all your intentions and ambitions, things didn't go as planned, and you need help. Help the court of Bristol is willing to provide, but before we lend you our strength, there's something we need you to do. He's talking to someone who we don't know yet. A lot of people have theorized this is Rix. This is Rix right here. Rix is the guy who betrayed the Bronze Legion and led the Vul into an uprising against the Bronze Legion. But it's possible he did not have enough power or troops to withstand the Bronze Legion, so he went to Shadow Fiend for help. And Shadow Fiend's like, yo, we got your back, but you're gonna have to do something for us. Like, is this Rix? Enhance. 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 I need more information. Enhance. Does that look like Rix's hand to anybody? Or does that... It look like he's wearing a glove. What are these green symbols? Wait a minute. Does Rix's cape have those green symbols? Oh, it's a red cape here. He's got green paint on his arms. Like, look at the paint, like, on his fur. That's the same kind of green paint you can see on the cloak. Like, the same kind of color. So that could very well be Rix. And this could be the whole plot line of the next expansion. Including Shadow Fiend and, like, the Court of Bristol. So, Shadow Fiend already has a voice line in the game. And he is referenced once by the Disciple of Nevermore. Nevermore is Shadow Field's real name, by the way. And he is also in the picture of the Oath. Despite him having a relatively low number of references here, it's a major, major part of the lore. I am pretty sure he is going to be in the next expansion. That is it as far as voice lines are concerned. You've got Silencer with 3 voice lines, Faceless Void with 2, Venge Spirit with 2, and Shadow Fiend with 1. So, I don't know if it's true or not. Again, this is all speculation. But since they already have voice lines, I'm sure they would have asked the voice actor to speak all of the other voice lines for all of the other, you know, cards that they're going to have for their heroes. That's 4 most likely guaranteed to be in the next expansion. Now, we also have a bunch of other heroes that don't speak at all, but they do have references and they do have pictures. Let's go through the rest individually, and we can see who else has a good chance of being in the next expansion. Lena. No voice lines in the game, but she's got 4 references and she's in 2 pictures. I'm sure you already know the pictures because they're rare cards and they're very powerful cards. You have At Any Cost. There she is. There's Lena. And then you also have Conflagration. And there she is again. Very high quality picture. Fantastic. All of the references to her are made by Crystal Maiden, her sister. There's 4 cards in the game where she talks about Lena. And Crystal Maiden's already in the game. So it would kind of make sense that they would put Lena in the next expansion and have some more of that, you know, sisterly love. Again, I don't see how Lena really fits into the current story of the war in Roseleaf. She's just the sister of Crystal Maiden. She's a big part of Dota. She's got a lot of references and pictures, but that's about it. So, is she going to be in the next expansion? I'm not sure. I'd say maybe 60-70% she will be in the next expansion. Next off is Dark Willow. Now, Dark Willow is actually a pretty big part of the lore right now. She's referenced 3 times, and she's in 1 picture, which is Payday. There she is. She's being captured by Bounty Hunter here, which, if you don't know, she had a bounty on her head because she betrayed her father, who is Lord Sunbreeze, one of the merchant kings in Revtel. So Lord Sunbreeze put a bounty on her head to capture her and bring her back to her father. And in this picture, it looks like it's going to happen. So while Dark Willow has no voice lines, she does have a few references and they are pretty, you know, important. And also Lord Sunbreeze has the most references in the game of all the cards that is not a Dota 2 hero already existing. Lord Sunbreeze is talked about 6 times in other cards. The most of any. Dark Willow being in the next expansion, I think is very, very likely. Very likely. Because she's just a huge part of what's going down in Revtel around the Merchant Kings. Okay? Next up, Rubik. Earlier, we talked about Silencer being the head of the Tyler estate. And how he tortures people. Let's go to Sentia. Right here, he talked about how he tortures people in the Tyler estate. And who's he torturing? He's torturing Rubik. What's going on, Rubik? What did you do? What laws did you break to get sent to the Tyler estate? He's also in collateral damage. We can see Animage beating him up. So, he's getting wrecked. And fun lore fact, Rubik is actually the son of Aghanim. Who's Aghanim, you ask? Well, I'm sure you've heard of Aghanim Sanctum. Aghanim is the greatest wizard of all time. You'll probably also recognize him from Dota 2, the Aghanim Scepter, which is probably the most popular item in Dota 2 since it modifies ultimate abilities. So Rubik is Aghanim's son, and apparently when Aghanim left or died, nobody knows. He disappeared, okay? He disappeared. And nobody knows if he died or he's working on something in secret, but he left the Aghanim Scepter to his son Rubik, and now Rubik is trying to become, you know, an all-powerful wizard, etc. So Rubik being in the next expansion could happen. He's in 3 pictures, which is tied for the most in all the cards. And he's got a reference made to him by Vanessa, one of the NPCs, I suppose, in Artifact. It's likely, I'm not sure. Let's go with 50-50 chance there. Alright, next up is Slark. Slark is in 2 references and 2 pictures. And they are both referenced by Lauren Lassen. So he's in Dirty Deeds. There he is right there. Very high quality picture of Slark. And Lauren Lassen, one of the NPCs, I guess, of the Artifact universe. He is the leader of the Jasper Circle. And he says, Slark and I go back a long time. He's a bastard, but he's my kind of bastard. So there's some sort of, you know, brotherhood between Slark and Lauren Lassen. He is also in Gank. There he is, ganking CM. And again, there's Lauren Lassen talking about Slark. So he's referenced twice, and he's in 2 pictures. That is it, though. Nothing really relating to the lore itself. But he's in the game, no voice line, just pictures and references. Maybe he'll be in the next expansion, maybe he won't be. It doesn't seem that important to the story. But it's quite possible that he is in the next one. Next up is Techies. He is in 3 pictures and 1 references. No voice lines. He is in Grand Melee. They're just fighting here in the bar. That's pretty much it. He is in Remote Detonation. He's not really doing much here. And this is where he is referenced as well. Cardell, which is Sniper, I believe. Cardell is talking about Techies. And that's kind of it. So Techies, he's only pictured a bunch of times and referenced once. So it's up in the air on Techies. Tusk, same kind of deal here. He is only really referenced by Bristleback in Rising Anger. No. Where's Tusk? Tusk is right here. Heroic Resolve, he's in the background there, and he's in Pick a Fight as well with Bristleback. So he's just, it's part of Bristleback's lore where they're always in a bar and they're always fighting each other. That's pretty much it as far as Tusk goes. Nothing too important there. Shadowfin we talked about. I'm pretty sure he's going to be in the next expansion just based on the voice line and the correlation to the main story. Anti-Mage. Now, Anti-Mage has 2 references in 1 pictures. He is in the collateral damage picture. There he is, kicking Rubik in the face. And he's got a couple other references, mainly Silencer, talking about how he recruited Anti-Mage to help him torture people in Tyler Estate. Not really correlated with this lore, but it's possible he could be in the next expansion. Now, pretty much all the heroes after this are just either pictured or referenced once. Like, say, Kunkka, you know, he's in 1 reference in 1 picture, and that is just clear the deck. That's it. He's there, and he's referenced by Tidehunter. Nothing too major. Just a small little reference to him. So, unlikely he'll be in the next expansion, just based on that information alone. Same with Oracle. Oracle's in Foresight. He's just on the cover of Foresight, drawing 2 cards. That's it. Phantom Lancer is on Sucker Punch. He's being talked about by Axe, so he's got 1 reference in 1 picture. Clockwork is on the turret, I believe. Keenfolk turret, there he is. Looks like he's got a nice piece there. Valve confirmed a bunch of perverts. Even like the symbol looks like a load being shot. Clockwork has 1 reference in the game, 1 picture, who knows. Death Prophet is in Pickoff. Invoker is in Enough Magic. Juggernaut is in Time of Triumph. Lifestealer is in Grand Melee. If you missed it, there he is, right up there. It's a reference. It still counts as a reference, but it's a pretty small reference, so I don't know if he'll be in the next expansion. Lifestealer's there. Marana is in Friendly Fire along with Luna. Monkey King is in Cheating Death along with Razor right there. Night Stalker is in the cover of Night. Spirit Breaker is in Time of Triumph. Tiny is in that card with Venge Spirit. Steel Strength. Undying also in the Grand Melee. There he is in the background. Not sure how important that is, but I doubt it will be that important. And Wind Ranger is in Grazing Shot. So that's it. Those are all of the references to all of the Dota 2 heroes in Artifact. And the main ones, again, are Faceless Void, who has voice lines and is also correlated with the lock mechanic, who I'm sure Valve will expand on the lock mechanic. They're going to add more cards with lock in them, maybe even to the point where you can build a competitive deck with lock. So I'm pretty confident Faceless Void will be in the next expansion. Vengeful Spirit, it's a toss-up. She's got voice lines, but she's not really correlated in the main story. I'm sure she'll be in the next expansion too, based on the voice lines. Lena, also a fairly good chance because she's referenced a lot and she's in a lot of pictures. Silencer, I'm like 90% sure because they talk about the Tyler estate a lot. And that's a part of Weeping Rose. And he's beating up Rubik. And he's got the most voice lines in the game. Silencer, pretty good chance. Dark Willow, also very good chance, just based on how much she ties in with the Revtel, the nation of Revtel, and how her father is Lord Sunbreeze. Rubik, just based on the fact that he's in the Tyler estate being tortured. Slark, not sure. Techies, Tusk, again, not sure. Shadow Fiend, almost certain he'll be in the next expansion, just based on the fact that he's in the Court of Ristal, and he is probably talking to Rix and giving him a sort of curse that will help him get power, but will cost him in the long run. If you look at the card, the Relentless Zombie, it says the dead are rising in Roseleaf. No, someone took the oath. Now, what is that? That is a Vul. And who's the leader of the Vul? Rix. So why is this Vul becoming a zombie? Uh-oh, looks like Rix did something naughty, and now he's paying for it. I think the next expansion is going to focus on what the troll soothsayer talks about in her voice line. She said the Red Mist Horde is just the beginning. Another force is coming. I felt it in the bones. I felt it in the wind, sorry, and seen it in the bones. Something dark, something seductive and evil. That could very much refer to Shadow Fiend. Just because of that, I think the next expansion is going to favor heavily around Shadow Fiend and the other demons of Dota 2. As for the rest of the references, they don't really speak to much, but they are in the game. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. If you want to know more about that, Slacks has a good video of Lorgasm, the Demon Lords, in which he talks about, you know, Doom, Queen of Pain, I think, Shadow Demon, Lion. Lion's already in the game, but there's other, you know, demons in Dota 2 that could be heavily related to the next expansion. So go check out that video if you're interested. Just Google Dota 2 Lorgasm Demon Lords. I'm also going to make another video, if I can, about the NPCs of the game. Have you seen Anger Me's lore vids? I've seen a few of them, yeah. I've seen a few. They just do, like, so much more in-depth research than I do. All I do is look through the cards and be like, hey, that's Silencer's voice. He's in the next expansion.